So this video is about placing an offer before auction. Could be that you want to place an offer before auction. You love the home. You don't want to miss it. How about we try and buy it before the auction? Get in ahead of the other guys who are just sitting back and waiting for the auction date. And the other reason that you might buy before auction is because the sales agent is asking you to place an offer before auction. So let's talk about those two scenarios now. Pre-auction offer strategy. So you want to place an offer before the auction. Determining whether the sales agent and the seller are open to pre-auction offers is important. If so, why? Why are they open? Why are they having an auction at all if they're going to accept offers beforehand? Why so? If they're receptive, this can be advantageous because you may catch other buyers unprepared as they sit back and wait for the auction. If you are interested in a home, ask the sales agent to let you know if they receive a pre-auction offer that the seller is considering, and ask them to always keep you in the loop. If you're really interested, you can actually call the sales agent every couple of days to ensure this. Nothing wrong with that. Let them know you're serious about this home. Timing. It could be best to get in early and try to capitalize on a motivated seller. So they've just put the property on the market. It's coming up for auction. It's week 1 in their auction campaign. Some sellers might be intimidated by going to auction. If they receive a strong offer early, they may accept it to save all of the effort and sweat and anxiety associated with preparing for an auction. Another strategy could be waiting until the middle of the sales campaign. Perhaps the seller wants to gauge the market and the interest in the property. Don't wait till the week before the auction, because at this point, most sellers will be wedded to the idea of going to auction. I mean, you can give it a go, but if you can't, do it earlier rather than later. Don't wait till the last week. So auction conditions, sign the contract. A signed contract with auction conditions means the seller wants everything as it would be if the property sold at auction, right? So you get the contract off of the sales agent. It's there. Show it to your conveyancer. Make sure it suits you. And then you get to put your offer in on the signed contract. It's got to be clean. What does it mean to have a clean offer, clean auction terms, clean contract? That is no building and pest, no finance, no cooling off period, and a 10% deposit with the signed contract. That's how you submit a signed contract as by way of making an offer before auction. This doesn't mean you have to skip the building and pest inspection. It just means you've got to get one done pronto. A conditional offer. When submitting an offer before the auction, you may state that the offer expires before the auction and that you won't be at the auction as you have another auction to attend on that day. If your offer isn't accepted, the sales agent may use it to set the reserve on the auction day, or even though your offer is no longer on the table, use it to negotiate with other bidders if the property's passed in. It's all unpredictable. And your offer, it could be that they're just wanting you to show your cards too. Make a strong offer is making an offer prior to auction. To capture the seller's attention and encourage them to consider an early sale, you often must make a compelling offer that aligns with or slightly exceeds the predicted market value, because the sales agent set them up to sell at auction, saying, oh my gosh, there's so many people interested. I've asked a few of the buyers. This one says he thinks it's worth that much. This one's willing to pay this much. You know, it's going to be a good auction. And so if you're trying to place an offer before that, then you have to place an offer that the seller thinks is attractive enough to stop them from going to auction. Therefore, your initial offer should be at the upper end of your planned auction bid range. While leaving room for negotiation is important, your starting number should be striking. Additionally, remember that walking away from pre-auction negotiations doesn't mean you're going to give up on the property. If the seller tries to push the price beyond your budget, it might be advantageous to wait for the auction. The seller may not accept your offer before auction. However, it may well sell for that much on auction day. So keep that in mind. Just because they didn't accept your offer prior to auction, you can still bid that amount on auction day and you might get it. That's a good attitude. Next, what if the agent asks you to place an offer before auction? If a sales agent is encouraging you to make an offer before auction, it could be because they are trying to influence the seller to set a realistic reserve price. Or their campaign is weak and they're worried about the auction. If you don't place an offer, the auction may be cancelled. Or they just want you to show your hand. I mean, I had sales agents ring me up and say, "Hey, Shiona, look, I don't know if we're going to have anyone turn up at the auction. Do you have any buyers?" So don't think that the sales agent is always confident with their strategy, because everything's in flux all the time. Many agents encourage pre-auction offers. Others don't tend to accept any offers prior to the auction. Frustratingly, many say one thing and do the opposite. Some sales agents might contact you attempting to pressure you by claiming that the seller is considering another pre-auction offer and that you should submit your offer today if you truly want the home. This could either be genuine or just a tactic to bluff you. This industry is often not very transparent. Some sales agents pride themselves on the fact that they are transparent. They market themselves that way. However, at the end of the day, their job is to get the most money for their seller. A couple of great questions to clarify your position. There's more than a couple there, isn't there? Whoops. Is it definitely going to sell prior to auction? Is there an offer that has piqued the seller's interest? Ask the sales agent these questions. When is the deadline for submitting my pre-auction offer? How much information will you disclose to each interested party? What process will you follow if I place an offer? How quickly will the seller decide if they will accept my offer? Whereabouts will I have to be price-wise to interest the seller? Can you help me to help you? This one's a sneaky one, but they shouldn't answer it. But they might give you a bit of information, okay? There's nothing wrong with asking. Great, so that's about placing offers prior to auction. Don't forget, if you have any more questions about this, you can always raise it at one of the Zoom meetings on Thursdays.